Hello, everybody. I hope you're doing great. I know I've been silent for a while, but there's been MBOS conference, there's been customer workshops, there's been internal hackathon, and there's been new interns onboarding. So I've been kind of busy, but I'm back, and I'm back showing you what I did this Sunday. As a habit, I like to do one power app a week. And my whole goal in doing one power app a week is to be able to kind of keep my power app skills up and running and kind of try new ways to use flow with power apps. So today, being that it's Sunday, wanted to do something kind of spiritual. So I made myself a daily Bible study app. And basically, this Bible study app, I can click on a day and I will see a published RSS feed showing what has been sent out for that day. So I'll show you the RSS feeds and you can pick whichever one you want. This one is called Bible in a Year Reading Plan. And you can just do a search in Bing or Google for RSS feeds about the Bible, and this will be one of them. There's a ton of them. So you can pick the ones that are your favorite. I chose this one because it actually enables you to go through the whole Bible in a year, which is something I haven't done for like 15 years. And so it's pretty exciting for me to have an idea that I could do that again. And so then let me just kind of share a little bit of what it does, and then I'll share how I put it together. How about that? So first on the left side, you see this little calendar, and the calendar is going to open up the different dates that have been published in the RSS feed. So in other words, if I go to the 20th, nothing has been published on the 20th because that day hasn't come yet, right? So basically you'll go from probably a day behind where you are when you're clicking on these. Once you get to a particular day in the feed, at the top it'll tell you what day it is and what scriptures they read and who authored this. And so I'll read the scriptures, and then I can look down the middle of the screen and you'll notice the entire summary that they posted. And so I can read this summary, but more important than that is I can annotate it. So I can come in here and I can start to highlight things and then kind of add my own notes here, right? And then whatever notes I want to add, I just put them in here. Now, what's neat is these annotations won't be saved on that RSS feed, of course. They don't even know I exist. So how can I save these annotations? I made myself a little flow button over here that's saving these annotations to SharePoint. Now, I could also save them to OneNote or Google Drive, wherever I want to save them. I'll show you how I made the flow, and you can pick whatever destination you want. Now, I should refresh the data after I press the button, but I'm going to go to a previous day, and then I'm going to come back to that day, and you'll see that because it's refreshed, now the data is refreshed, that we can see the note that I just added. Now, it doesn't get retained in the feed because I have no rights to edit that feed, but I have saved that entire feed reading and my notes to the SharePoint site. So if I click on this, it's actually going to take me to the SharePoint site. Of course, I could have put this in the app. I just wanted to do it in SharePoint, and you can see these are the exact notes that I took on top of that passage, right? So really love this as the beginner of this app. So usually what I do with Power Apps is I'll get started with something, like maybe I'll spend an hour on something, but then each week I'll add to it. So I could see myself adding a little bit more functionality to this app. Maybe I'll just show what my note was. If it doesn't take up too much space, the reason I linked off is because it's a lot of stuff in there. And this is an annotation and not a separate note. I could have also gave myself a box to take a separate note, but I really wanted to test out saving annotations, right? So if you look here on the 12th, I also took an annotation, and so my annotations are going to look different than what's published because I've added my own thoughts in there, right? So I really like that idea. It seems to work well. This is the 11th. Did I actually annotate the 11th? You can see the date in that far right gallery is the date that I added the annotation. You can see I added a couple of bullet points in here. All right. So let's look a little closer at how I did this. So to get started with the user interface, because I think some people get really stuck on how do I make my app pretty? Guys, the key to making your app pretty is this. Templates, 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 templates. Okay? Remember, templates. A lot of work goes into making your templates pretty. In this case, I actually am using a screen template. So I basically just added the calendar screen template to my app, and then I revised it. So every single template can be revised to whatever you want, okay? Now, when it drops down, it's gonna be set up to what we decided it was supposed to be used for. Like Power Apps team said, hey, here's a template so that they can connect to one of their calendars, and then they can show everything that's scheduled on that day in their calendar, right? And so easy peasy. But I don't really want this gallery on the right connected to my calendar. I want it connected to that feed. But I want to keep the calendar. So I'm going to make a couple of changes to kind of kill the connection between this gallery and this feed and make it so I don't have to pick a calendar, because this is irrelevant, the whole picking of a calendar thing. So I'm going to go to my first red dot and click on it. And in this red dot, you'll see there's a whole little story about how calendars are done, right? And so what I'm going to do is change everywhere where it refers to that drop down to just be my calendar, right? And my default calendar, yours may be the same as mine. The default calendar is calendar, but you might not have as many calendars as I do. I have 5 or 6 calendars. And so that's why mine's not defaulting to calendar. And so I'm just checking to make sure there aren't any others. Let's click on this. And again, I'm just going to replace my calendar name. I have a little bit of a, oh wow, okay, click, click, okay, nope. I'm gonna use my finger because I'm having some kind of selection problem. Okay, I'm free now. So I'm gonna delete this and make this calendar. Okay, now I've moved that there, and then everywhere I see a red dot where the calendar is, that's the problem. It's looking for one of my calendars, and I don't need it to do that. So I'm just gonna replace this with calendar in quotes. Okay, and now it will default automatically to my calendar as opposed to whatever this is looking for, right? Which is a variable, I believe. Now, there's another variable in here, and again, I can view variables to show you. There's another variable in here for the selected date. So if you look at here, this date selected, this is used when you click on the calendar. Now, the only thing I want to do with that date selected is go to the main on start and set it automatically to today -2. And the reason I'm doing that is because it's unlikely that they will have published something today. So I want to default this to today -2. I could also just default to today -1, but it's like my way of setting, what is this what's selected on here as soon as people open the app. All right, and that can be whatever you want. Now, I do have a date selected at this time, and my calendar has no error messages. So that's kind of like the first thing I do. Then I add the data sources. So you'll need to add 2 data sources. So ignore all these extra things here. I'm just going to remove these. So we get only what you need. And we're going to actually save the notes together. We're going to build that flow together. So what you'll need is the RSS feed connection, the Outlook Office 365 was added by the template. You don't have to delete it. It's fine to keep it there. I think it's best to keep it there. Then we have OneNote in case you want to put your notes in OneNote. Since I'm going to put mine in SharePoint, then I just added the SharePoint Bible read list. So this app only needs these 3 connections. You'll need to make the Bible read SharePoint list like I did. And basically all it has is a title, a rich text, multiple line field for the notes, and that's it, right? You could add more or less depending on what you want to save. So now that I have that together, now I'm going to put this gallery to be the RSS feed. So I'm going to do RSS, list feed items, and go get my RSS feed. I have it in my OneNote. So let's go to the previous screen and steal it. And I'll put it in the description as well. Let's see. I'm going to just steal it because I didn't put it handy. So here's my RSS feed. And then I'm going to go down back to that new gallery. And I'm going to paste that feed URL in there. And you get it just by looking at the description or going to Google to figure it out. Now, when you do that, the format of this gallery is going to be still sticking on, the columns that were in your calendar. So you can go over to layout and just change it to title. Okay, and then use that title field to look up your RSS feed title. And then basically that's it. Now, did I go? Yes, I did. I go back. All right. So just want to make sure I'm in the right one. So here, now we're in the right one. And now I want to look at the title field of this gallery and change it to title. Okay, I could use the edit fields as well. So now you can see the title of each of the items. Now, we don't need the chevron, and I want this to only filter to the dates that are selected over here. So I'm going to filter this. Now, depending on your RSS feed, what you just want is you want the published date, right? So I'm going to filter this where the date selected, which because of the template, that variable is called date selected, is equal to the date value. So I do have to put this in a function called date value of the published date. Okay, so now we've actually, and I'll just gotta close that paren, just show you that again. I have the feed filtered where date selected equals date value published date. Now, if we test this and click on these things, you see that it only gives one item because only one item is filtered per date. Now, what's interesting is the date I selected is Wednesday, June 5th, which is what this label is set to, date selected. But this is for June 6th. And that's because they actually published it the day before. So in order to really get this to work so that the date on the left matches the date on the right, you've got to pull that date out of the title. And that is a lot of string manipulation. Now, I've already done it for you. You don't have to do it. But I will put it in the app gallery so you can see what I did. Let's see, I think I saved it as a notepad item. But you don't have to do this. You can just be happy with the published date and move on. But if you want to get finicky and learn what we did here, then I'll be glad to show you that in another video, or you can just learn it by downloading this app from the app gallery, okay? Now they actually match, and that's because we are matching it to the date that has been pulled out of that title. So think of a lot of splitting and first and results and a lot of manipulation of those strings. To tell you the truth, to me, it's not worth the extra effort. You probably are just as happy using the published date. especially if you're just using this for Bible study. But it's kind of fun to look at how the published date was pulled out and converted into a date so that we could match date selected to the date that we retrieved from that string manipulation. Again, totally optional, not needed. Now, I'm not actually going to use this gallery though, right? I'm just going to kind of keep it here, but I am going to change this to match that. So basically I'm going to do, instead of the date selected here, which is the date on the calendar, I'm actually going to take that gallery and use it. So this is gallery events number 2, and then we'll do the selected, and then we'll do the title. That way we can actually show the whole title up in the top, which will show the scriptures. Now, this gallery that's here, I'm only going to use it for information purposes. And so I can actually hide it. All right. I can hide it or I can cover it. So right now we're going to make it visible false. Right. Okay. Now I'll show you why I don't need it, because everything else on this screen really relies on what's selected in it. But the selection occurs because of the date selection. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert a rich text editor. And in this rich text editor, I'm just going to put that so it takes up most of the screen. And it's up to you whether you want to put a border or not. You might want to put a really thin border around it. You might not. Totally up to you. Let's do border style. And if not, we can just leave it like that. I think that's fine. Now, in the default of this rich editor, we're actually going to put the RSS feed, right? So we're going to put that gallery 2, because it's the second time I'm doing it, selected, but we're going to take the summary field, which is the really long one that has all the meat in it. And you'll see it's nice and big, but I don't want to look at this formula bar. I'm going to close it up, and you'll see that I have that whole summary right in there. Now I'm just going to set this text to 14 point to give it a little bit more readability. I'm also going to change the 14. So when you'll notice when you change the size of a HTML control, a rich text editor control, it'll lead you straight to size where you can change it there as well. And you'll get the 14 points. All right. So now if we test this app, if we click on this, you'll see that this will change to a different day. So will this. So we are doing a great job. Everything's working beautifully. Now we're going to add the SharePoint list. Now I've already done that, but you would set up your SharePoint list to pick up your Bible read notes. Remember that the column that is collecting that HTML for notes needs to be a rich text column, right? So if you look at my notes column in this library, it is set to being enhanced rich text. Okay, and that actually helps it to match our Power App. I think it's safer to do rich text, but as you can see, this works with enhanced rich text too. All right, so now let's put a gallery over here for that. So I'm going to insert a vertical gallery, and I'm going to select the data source for Bible Read. And the only field I want in this one is title. So I can do a couple things. I can set the layout to title. That automatically gets the title. And then I can just pull this over to the right and just have it fill up this whole side here. Now, what I don't need is the chevron. This date here, I really don't need it. I'm going to actually put the actual created date. So this is actually the date and time I created the list and item notes, right? So whenever I created that annotation, and that doesn't need to be so big. We can make that like 12 points or even 14. I think Veronica said to kind of stick with 14 points for iPad and phone, and a minimum of 12 points or 10 points for everything else. And then I'm going to insert in that gallery as well a little icon for them to click on, right? So I'm going to do insert icon, and let's pick a friendly icon that says go look at the Bible. I'll just pick this journal icon, Oops, I didn't get in my gallery. So get in your gallery by hitting the pencil, then you can use your icon. Now at this point, all I want to do with the icon is make sure it's in the front, or that the next thing is not too long. And then it's going to use on select the launch formula. And then in the launch formula, we're just going to put this item's link. So this item dot, type the word link, and it will give you the link to item. And so now when you click on that, it'll open up the actual item. And then the last thing I'm going to do is filter this so that it only has this one in it, right? So I'm going to filter the BibleRead gallery so that the title equals the gallery title. And that should be all I need to do. Calendar events. Now, when you're doing this, I suggest you pay attention to the colors. Okay, let's just, we type in wrong. Let me just stop talking for a minute. Okay, the second gallery, because this is the second time I'm doing this. And then we're going to do selected.title. So the title in the BibleRead should match the title in the gallery where all of them are. Okay, basically this should work. So if I run this app and I click on the 12th, I have a note for the 12th here. If I click on the 10th, I have no notes at all. So what you might want to do is what I did before, is add a label. So you just add a label here, and this label goes over here, and it says there are no notes, there are no annotations. And then when do we show these words? You can make this center. All right, but we're only going to show these words. So I'm going to go to the visible property here, and I'm only going to show them if the row count, so count rows in our new gallery, which is gallery 2, and you see it highlighted in green on the right. That's a great way to check that you got the right gallery. It highlights in the color that it is in the formula bar, and then just do all items. So if the count of all items is greater than 0. So if the count is greater than 0, then that text will show. So I do have some annotations in here. So let's try to find one that has some annotations. And then you'll see that pop up. So there's an annotation. So basically, this is backwards. Hold on. This one should only be visible if it equals 0. Sorry, I shouldn't have done greater than 0. I should equal 0. So that doesn't show up unless there are no annotations. Totally makes sense to you, right? Okay. So now, how do we save the annotation? All right. Now I'm going to add the flow button. So we're gonna, here's the fun part. Flow button, action. Oh, sorry, insert a button first. And you can put this button wherever you want. I'm just going to put it up here. And this is going to say save annotation. And I'm going to name this button annotations 2, right? Because I've already done this once, so it might be a double. And then I just kind of size my button any way I want. Do a Control S at some point. Make sure you save, guys. I hate to have all this work you have a network crash or something. All right, now we're gonna make our flow. Yay! Action flows, create new flow. Please ignore all my flows, I have a lot. And it'll open up my flow UI, give me a power-ups button. I'm just gonna call this save annotations for power-ups. And then I'm gonna add a new step, and guess what my new step's gonna be? I'm gonna go get my SharePoint connector, and that shows me all my actions for SharePoint. And then I'm going to do create item. And we're going to create that item. So we're going to pick that SharePoint site, which is the planning team site. And then we're going to pick the list, which I made called BibleRead. Then I'm going to fill in the blanks. So the title, let's ask for that in Power Apps. And the notes, Let's click see more over here so we can get asking power apps and click on that again. So now I have two parameters, title and notes. All right, now I'm going to save this. I usually click that save button twice just for the fun of it because I hate this message. And now I'm going to go back to Power Apps and select it on the bottom. It'll add it to my bar. Just move this out of my way. And somehow it didn't go to the on select, so we'll just go there. And you'll see my thing here. It wants to know where's the title and where's the notes. So the title and the notes are in the gallery. So I'm going to go to Gallery 2. And I'm going to pick selected dot title. And then that's my title. And then that same gallery has the summary. I'm sorry, that's not right. What we want to do is send the notes. For the notes, we're actually going to use the rich text editor, right? And here's where you want to make sure you click the right one, right? It'll highlight on the screen so you can see. And you don't need to do the .html or anything like that. For the second part of this, you just need to tell it where the rich text editor is in your second part of your parameter. You don't need any dots after it. It kind of picks up what that is. All right. So the last thing I'm going to do here is also refresh the data source. So I'm going to refresh the BibleRead so that it basically I can see it in the gallery right away. All right. So Control S to save. Our app is done. I guess we could change this to from saying calendar to Bible study. And then let's run it. And now I'm going to annotate this. God is ultimately our sovereign. So let me hit the three dots first so I get my whole rich text editor. And then I'll highlight what I want to highlight. And I might add a new couple of bullets down here. You know, maybe other scriptures that I want to add to this. And then I can put that in a different color if I want. Okay, let's put that. There we go. Different color. And now I'm going to click my save button to see if it works. Here we go. Look at that. We've got a new annotation. If I click on it, it will take me to SharePoint and show you that it did successfully put it in there. Isn't this awesome? We have our own method of sending annotated text to SharePoint. Now, I bet you can think of business reasons that you might want to do this too, where you want people to annotate or review something and send their comments, but you don't want them to edit the original. In this case, I could not edit the original because it was a published feed that I had no right to edit. But I could put it in a rich text editor, annotate it, and then save the annotation. I could have saved it to OneNote or CDS or wherever I'd like. Do you like this idea? Was this fun? I will probably, the only other thing I might do to finish this off is I might go ahead and hide this calendar field, this calendar drop down, because I don't want anybody selecting calendars. And it's already defaulted to the calendar that I need. I might add some more functionality to this app. Here's a challenge I'll give you. All right. Either make your own Bible study app using the same template if you think you like to read and study the Bible. If not, try and find another scenario where this could work. How could you use this scenario in another way and also leverage this template? Here's one more challenge. If you don't like either one of those, go to Power Apps and try and create a Bible reading app with the meeting capture template. Whoa, I think this would be awesome, right? Because what you would do is you would make this gallery right here that shows your meetings for today. That would show all the different days of the Bible reading or all the different titles of the Bible reading. And then when you start the study session, instead of starting your meeting, you'd start your study session. You could also add notes. You could add to-do items on how you can follow up on what you learned. You could add drawings about your study. You could even take pictures and save them. And then when you save all these different things, right, and you get done, you finish and save, now they go to all these different places, just like the meeting capture template does. And you can decide which OneNote, which planner holds your task. You can even email a summary of your study session to your religious leader or whatever. Lots of fun, right? So try it out. Give it a shot. I'm giving you a couple of challenges. Tell you what, my Twitter handle is Artsy Power Apper. If you tweet me a video or a screenshot of your app that you made as a result of this tutorial, then you'll be automatically entered into a raffle for a Bluetooth speaker. Okay? I'll be talking to you soon. Next Friday will be the next Friday Functions video. So I'll be back on track next Friday. Hope to see you soon. Have a great week.